In this section, we will look into how we use HDRI to light up the whole scene. Now we already have the scene here and I already turned off the lights that we have. Let's head to this asset browser, and in the asset browser you will be able to see that there are HDRI. So just expand it down and click onto the legacy and you will be able to see that there are these HDRI images. Now HDRI images are the images with 360 degree of the whole environment, and what we can do with it is it will collect the data of the lights and apply it into our scenes. So let's take a look at this. Let's double click. If your HDRI haven't downloaded, it will take some time to download it, and you will see that this is like a panorama view of the whole environment and we can get the light source from it. So let's close it and open up our material manager and drag our HDRI into the material manager. Then we close this. You can get into this icon and go and get a sky. So once we have a sky, we just drag and drop the material onto our sky, and this is what we see. Now we have the light source from the right hand side. If let's say we want to move it on our left, move it to our left, I can just select the sky and I start to do rotation and just rotate it. Just rotate to the left hand side. Let's put our scene here and let's frame it properly. And we can have our camera. I just click onto the camera and just select the camera so that the view that we are viewing is our camera view, and right click. I want to give a protection onto it so that I won't move it around. So I go to rigging, protection, and now I can't move my camera anymore. So once I untick this, I can still move around to see where my sky is and move it around. Let's take a look on our standard render. In our render setting, we're still using standard, and we just click onto this and see what happened. Basically, nothing much happened because we haven't read the data from the HDR mat. Now let's minimize it. And to read the data, we need to get into the effect and choose global illumination. Global illumination means that it gets the lights from the globe and try to illuminate each other. So for example, if the objects is close to each other, for example, this yellow, we'll cast the yellow color onto the wood, and the wood will also cast the wood color onto the yellow. So now we have this, meaning that it will read our sky data and apply it onto the whole scene. So let's take a look again. So once we add global illumination, the rendering will look like this because it needs to get the luminance first. Now you see the scene turns into blue color, and you see that there are a bit of reddish color over here. So this is the one without our global illumination. This is the one with global illumination. Now let's get into the settings again and try to change the settings in the global illumination. For this, we can change to QMC to get a better lighting effect. Second method, we get the light mapping. So we try to get the light as much as possible over here. So once we have these settings in our global illumination, let's try and click it again. And now you'll see that it's more blue casting on it. The light is more accurate. So if you are going to render a very detailed and realistic look, you can use global illumination, and of course the render time will be longer. So now if you take a look at this and compare to the previous one, this one will definitely be lighter. Let's take a look at this again. If I turn on my lights, definitely it will become brighter. The lights might be overexposed, so I need to reduce this to 50. Or I think I just reduce it to 50. And the feel like, I think I like this specular. I reduce it to 6 to 30. I still can see a bit. And backlight, I think I'll just turn it off. I don't really need the backlight anymore. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think I just get the backlight maybe 20. And let's take a look on the rendering again. So previously our render is like this. This looks flat, and now we turn into, and all the specular seems missing, and that's why I turn back on my light, and now I can see my specular. If you take a look at this, there's these details at the side here, as well as here I can see my specular back, and here also I can see some of my specular is coming back. So it depends on how you want it to be and how you want to set your settings to be. You can turn on your global illumination and create your own setting, try to tweak around and play around. Of course, if you need a light for the specular, you can turn on the light and you can include or exclude the object that you want the light to affect on. So let's take a look at another thing is that if let's say we don't have a plane at the back, when we set render, we will be able to render the sky at the back. So what if we don't want to render the sky, but we want the sky to affect the material? What we can do is we can select the sky, right click onto the sky, go to render tag, and get into compositing. So once we have this compositing tag on, we can go into here and scene by camera, we just turn it. But it's seen by GI, meaning that GI will affect on it. Let's render and see. So your GI still get affected by the lights of the HDRI. So right now we can't see the background anymore. By using HDRI, you can have a better lighting and looks more realistically seen rendered. And of course, you need to turn on your global illumination. By now, if you want to add an AO, or we call it ambient occlusion, you can turn it on and render it, and take a look what you get.